Good morning. Welcome back to Unspoken Exit, a series about suicide, suffering, and staying. Let's be honest. Most of us are afraid of death. Even therapists, even spiritual teachers, even people who've done years of this work. And when someone we love talks about dying, it brings all of that fear to the surface. In this episode, we'll explore how our own fear of death can either block a connection or it can deepen it. Many cultures treat death like a taboo. We whisper about it. We change the subject. We try to outrun it with wellness, with money, with denial, with all this. So when someone says, I want to die, it doesn't just scare us. It disorients us. We don't know what to say because we've never been allowed to practice. Sometimes, in our fear, we start trying to control the person. Don't say that. That's not true. You have so much to live for. These are fear responses. But they tell the person, your pain is too much for me. Your truth is unacceptable. And that can drive them even deeper into isolation. What if we got honest about our fear of death? Not just their death, but our own. What if we sat with this discomfort of knowing? What if we allowed the mystery of death to humble us instead of harden us? Doing our own death work can make us more available, more grounded, more compassionate when someone we love is suicidal. Oh my God, what is death work? Well, some ways that we can start death work is by journaling about our own mortality. What does death mean? And surprisingly, even when it comes to religion, we only allow ourselves to think about death as kind of a vacation, a place we go. Yeah, so when I die, I'm gonna go to heaven. And what? Well, I'm gonna be with God, and I'm gonna be with Jesus, and I'm gonna sing with the angels. Okay? So you go from living to what you're gonna do on the afterlife. But there's a gap there. So journaling about that gap. What is death? Not what happens after death, not what we believe in, but death. From the time, from that moment, our mind, our heart, our organs, everything shuts down. Before we go on to wherever we go. And then there are books like The Denial of Death by Ernest Becker, or When Breath Becomes Air by Paul, and I know I'm gonna butcher this name, and if you're watching or if you know him, please, I do apologize. I'm just gonna say by Paul. Last name begins with K. I want to be respectful of everybody's name. I am not perfect. I make mistakes, and I don't want this for all eternity on here. Now, another option is talking with others about end of life wishes. This is something that a lot of people postpone and postpone and postpone, because it creates a situation where we are now faced with thinking about death. Again, that gap between when my body gives out before I go to wherever I go. Explore traditions that engage with death as a spiritual transition, not a failure. If we can't even talk about death in general, how are we going to get to a place where we talk about suicide? If we can't sit in our own discomfort, if we are so afraid of our own emotions, how in the hell are we going to be able to hold space for somebody else's big emotions? We are all mortal. Nobody is going to live forever. Every single one of us is going to die. And it is super important for us to the idea is not about not having the fear. The idea is about sitting with that fear, not running from the fear, acknowledging that fear, acknowledging the discomfort, acknowledging the pain, the big emotions that come from it, and sitting in those. Our fear of death doesn't have to be a barrier. It can be a portal to presence, to depth, to truth. It's okay when somebody says, hey, I'm thinking about death. It's okay to say, hey, wow, I'm noticing some big emotions and some discomfort within me. I'm noticing I want to change the subject. I'm uncomfortable. Can we talk about you? If I'm uncomfortable, what are you feeling? It's okay to acknowledge our own emotional discomfort. Acknowledge. But we are not putting our emotions over the other person's. In order to practice that, let's first practice having conversations about death. The more we accept that death is a part of life, the better we can show up for those dancing near the edge. So, in our next episode, we'll talk about what happens when the caretaker becomes suicidal and how their pain often goes unseen. So, thank you all for showing up. Thank you all for being here. And I look forward to seeing you in our next episode. I hope you all have a wonderful, amazing rest of this beautiful day. And I'll see you soon.